lost a few games, tough. Quack, 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 quack. Yo, what's going on with your YouTubes? Y'all, man, Chris here. We come back at y'all with another vid. Today we want to talk about these Jordan 5 Oregon Ducks, or should I say SE Oregons, or whatever you want to call these things. Anyways, recap this release here. It felt like it was somewhat kind of limited, like semi-limited, you know. Especially locally, I felt like it was pretty tough to get because in my area, like I said, no Foot Lockers got them in my area, only Champs and Foot Action. And from what I was told, they had pretty limited amount. Like it was only maybe like 2 size runs to about 1 size run. And even a couple City Gears here and there, they told me it was like pretty limited, like maybe 1 size run. Like they only had like maybe 18 pairs or something like that, which tells me that, hey, these things are actually kind of limited. And that's not to say maybe they had late shipments and stuff like that. I didn't hear about any of that. But I was saying it was somewhat kind of limited. And also from what I also was hearing, that the foot size was also limited to only 15K pairs total on the foot size. I think the sneakers app maybe had a little bit more for sure, but still somewhat kind of limited. But anyways, these were actually kind of tough to get. I did see a lot of people take some W's. I saw some people take some L's here and there. I saw some people actually cook some pairs. Now, I get a lot of questions like of what I like to do on this channel here as well. A lot of people like to know, hold or sell on these things. What could the value be on these shoes here in potential? Potentially right now, these shoes are holding at like 280 to 290, some even 300 depending on sizes. These only came in men's sizes, and these things retail for about 225. So after taxes and shipping and stuff like that, you're probably spending like 235 to 240. It's actually pretty expensive for some, for a pair of shoes. That's not to say, of course, Yeezys are like about the same price too. So for Jordan, Jordan usually retails like at 190. You're looking like 200, so it's like a $20 increase. And so like 290 to me, I feel like it's actually pretty decent, especially when they're kind of holding up. I'm not sure what they'll do in the long run. I say right now, especially if you don't have capital, this is a shoe that I'll probably let go pretty quickly because I do see prices dip down pretty hard. I could see prices probably around like that 250, 240, which is, you're basically making your money back if you're going to sell on the apps. If you're selling the apps around that time, you might even lose money. Right now, you're still making a little bit of money here and there. And try to sell these things on the app because it's just so expensive. So the best way to do is, IG, locally, stuff like that, whatever price you can kind of negotiate. But now, later down the road, these could potentially do better. These could potentially do very, very well. So if you do have money and you do have capital and stuff like that, I would say this. If you have a couple pairs here and there, I would try to sell most of them and hold like maybe 1 or 2, or maybe a couple here and there, depending your finance situation. And also, I feel like, for example, the UNC 3s. These things were going for like 280, 290 when they first released. Now look at prices. Some sizes are at 300, some sizes at 350. Even big sizes are going like $400. And this is like the PE of the UNC 3s, and this is basically like the PE of the Oregon Ducks. And those things, you guys know how those are going for. They're going for like $5 grand to 10K. So kind of a perfect example for it. But then again, it kind of does scare me a little bit because even though this is a beautiful shoe, it is a UNC colorway. That's kind of the reason why they went up. And it's just a beautiful shoe. It really is. But for the Oregon Ducks now, it does give me the heebie-jeebies and kind of scares me because I saw the way how the Michigan 5s went and how the Michigan 12s went. Okay, they're not doing much at all. So it kind of scares me a little bit. So I'm not sure if I'm willing to hold it. They could potentially, in the long run, they could do pretty well. Especially on big sizes. Here's one thing. If you do have small sizes, I'll probably let go all the small sizes, and I'll definitely hold on to the bigger sizes, like a size 11, 12, so on and so forth. Those are basically for those here. These are like the money size. Because the biggest size right now is actually kind of the money size. They're going for like, I think like at 300 or something like that. So I'm sure price will dip down once people do have pairs. But in the long run, that shoe could potentially go up to like maybe 350, something like that. 400 is probably the max. I don't know if it'll hit 400, I'll be very, very surprised if they hit 400. If they do, you know, they could do some numbers. I don't know, man. $220 to hold these things. It just seems a little steep. I just, to me, especially if you had a whole bunch of pairs, you know, it's not like a Yeezy or anything. You know, it's different. Yeezys always kind of does well, but with PEs, you just never know. They could brick out. They could go up. You know, it's just, I just kind of have like a certain feeling about these things, man. I'm not sure if I wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't hold them. You know, I think I would maybe hold one or two, and I'll let the rest go. You know, especially if you got more. But if you have only like one, let it go and then move on. I probably would let it go now, but let's say if you get pairs later on and they're like, you know, they drop down pretty significantly and they're, you know, you're basically not making any money, don't sell it to where you're losing money. Don't do that. You know, if anything, return it. But it's definitely a shoe I probably won't invest in. You know, it's like one of those shoes that I'll probably just quick flip and dump. But if you do have a pair and their price is going down, you might as well kind of hold and just see how it does, and maybe you get lucky. You know, sometimes it could potentially go up. It just, I don't know. Right now, I kind of have a really crazy vibe to it. I hope they go up. I hope they do fine. But you just kind of never know. Big sizes will do much better though than smaller sizes. So if you were to invest or grab a pair or try to sell, or if you do have bigger sizes, you'll probably be in better shape. I would think just because it's the Oregon Duck, you know, look-alike 5, the PEs, because the Oregon Duck 5s, you know, how much those things are going for. And those are like one of the hyped up PEs out there. And because everybody knows about the Oregon Duck 5s. And it's pretty freaking similar, you know, pretty freaking close. So, and then the UNC 3s, to me, that's just like a beautiful colorway. But with the Michigan 12s and the Michigan 5s, you know, if that was another example, they just didn't do well. So, but that's not to say it's a bad shoe, you know, I'm just talking about the value only. Final verdict, sell most, hold maybe a couple, you know, one or two or so. That's what I would say. And if they're bigger sizes, even better. Hey, but you know what? Of course, with these hold and sell videos, this is just like a prediction, a lot of guessing, you know. You know, I never ever say in my hold and sells that I'm always right, you know. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna get things wrong. Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna get things wrong. It just happens, man. But I just go through things to where what I had experienced before and what I've known in past, you know, in the past, and I just use that, you know. And I try not to take really high risk and stuff like that, you know. There's been plenty of times to where like I was like, yo, I wish I would have held this one, or I wish I didn't sell this, or I wish I would have sold it sooner, you know. It just happens, and I learned from experience from all that, and that's what I go from. So when I tell you guys all these advices, I never go out of spite or emotions like, oh, I got a pair, so I'm definitely gonna hold, or I didn't get them because I'm salty and now I'm telling everyone to sell. No, it's never been like that. I tell you guys all, I try to be very genuine with all this stuff. So just take my advice in the videos, you know, to what suits you. And if you can, then cool. If not, you know, keep it moving, man. Just take my advice and everything, you know, from what you're experiencing. You kind of go with your gut feeling. You know, with my gut feeling, I'm saying these things here. It's probably a quick flip. If you want to hold like one or two. I wouldn't hold a whole bunch, you know. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it, man. Like, I've always appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys don't mind, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if it's your first time here. Comment down below, and please hit that bell for all the notifications for when I do drop vids. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media at GermanChris on IG. Sometimes I'm on Twitter, and don't forget Snapchat. Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you guys so much. I'm GermanChris. Peace.